2018 kicked off with a showcase in the marquee division when UFC heavyweight champ Stipe Miocic proved that he was still the baddest man on the planet by demolishing Francis Ngannou at UFC 220 over 5 rounds. It was a crazy first round with the underdog champ surviving the Predator's infamous swarm. But once the storm was over, Miocic went on the hunt and spent the next 4 rounds blowing up the Ngannou hype train to stake his claim as the best heavyweight in history. The win put him in the record books in a big way. Most consecutive defenses, stoppage wins, and knockouts in a heavyweight title fight with 3 apiece. He also claimed the division's most performance of the night bonuses with 4. At One Championship Kings of Courage in Indonesia, Xiang Jingnan became the promotion's first ever women's strawweight champ with her 4th round TKO of Tiffany Teo. It was a hard first round with both women getting their fair share of shots in, but a late takedown exposed Teo's weakness on the mat, and Xiang exploited it relentlessly for the next 2 rounds. Former UFC champ Ronda Rousey signed with the WWE and quickly became a surprisingly well-loved face for the sports entertainment promotion. Then, One Championship bantamweight king Bibiano Fernandes spoiled Martin Nguyen's attempt to become the sport's first ever simultaneous 3-division world champ with a razor-thin split decision. The main event of Iron Will saw Fernandes denying Nguyen the chance to land his infamous power shots, while Nguyen continually stuffed the takedown attempts of Fernandes. But Flash convinced 2 of the 3 judges that he'd won and pushed his defense record out to 8. And with his 10th victory in the promotion, Fernandes became the most successful fighter in ONE history. But the big news centered around the lead-up to UFC 223. It all began with déjà vu when Tony Ferguson pulled out of his highly anticipated lightweight title fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov after tearing a ligament in his knee. Ferguson was stripped of his interim title, and featherweight champ Max Holloway stepped in to save the card. Then, Nurmagomedov had words with Conor McGregor's teammate and friend, Artem Lobov, in a hotel hallway, which spurred Conor McGregor to storm the Barclays Center with a group of men before attacking the boss Khabib was on and injuring several people in the process. UFC President Dana White, like everyone else, was both stunned and disgusted by the shocking overreaction.
The police are going to take care of Conor. The police are going to handle Conor, and, you know, I know that a handful of people here already that are filing lawsuits against Conor McGregor. God knows how many lawsuits he's going to have by the time this is done.
To make matters worse, Holloway was then forced off the card by the New York Commission over doubts about his last-minute weight cut, and Al Iaquinta was the only man left to take the fight. Khabib plowed his way through the American for his 26th straight win, the UFC lightweight title, and the perfect storyline for a future fight with Conor McGregor. Not to be overshadowed in the co-main event, Rose Namajunas retained the women's strawweight title in her rematch with the former champ Joanna Jędrzejczyk to prove her first win wasn't a fluke. Japan's Yoshitaka Naito reclaimed the One Championship strawweight title with a split decision win over Brazil's Alex Silva in the main event of Grit and Glory. Then, at UFC 224, the women's bantamweight champ Amanda Nunes dismantled the returned Rocky Pennington to prove once again that she's the woman to beat in professional combat. And Singapore's unstoppable Angela Lee retained the world atomweight title at ONE's Unstoppable Dreams, defeating Mei Yamaguchi in a grueling 5-round main event rematch. Lee dominated the early rounds, especially with her grappling, aggressive ground and pound, and relentless takedowns. But again, Japan's Yamaguchi sat Lee on her backside, this time with a head kick in the 5th round. She followed up with a slam and finished the fight with some ground and pound of her own, but it was too late. All 3 judges felt that Lee had done enough and awarded her the unanimous decision for her 3rd successful defense. The former UFC middleweight champ Michael Bisping closed out May by formally announcing his retirement from professional fighting. "It ain't worth it," said Bisping on his personal podcast. What else am I going to do? I won the belt, I've had tons of wins, I've done everything I set out to achieve. The Count retired with a record of 30-9, with his 20 wins and 29 fights in the UFC both being records. And along with his UFC and TUF titles, he also coached TUF twice. Middleweight champ Robert Whittaker beat perfect physical specimen Yoel Romero with a contentious split decision in the main event of UFC 225 in an unbelievable display of martial arts prowess. Whittaker broke his thumb. Romero's eyes had almost swollen shut. Whittaker outstruck the Cuban in 1, 2, and 4, and Romero nearly took the champ's head off in 3 and 5. When Conor McGregor finally appeared in court for his bus attack, it was only to reschedule a later appearance. But at least he felt bad.
I regret my actions that led me here today. I understand the seriousness of this matter, and I'm hopeful that it gets resolved soon. Thank you, everyone. Conor, when are you going to fight?
Ronda Rousey became the first woman inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, boasting the Strikeforce and UFC bantamweight titles, the second and third fastest finishes in a UFC title fight, and the longest title fight stoppage streak in UFC history, man or woman, with 6. And finally, one championship saw some title action when interim flyweight title holder Geje Eustaquio claimed the undisputed title from the two-time champ Adriano Moraes. Women's strawweight champ Xiong Jing Nan cruised to a unanimous decision victory against an overwhelmed Laura Ballin. And double champ Ong La Unsung defended his middleweight title, this time against Ken Hasegawa with a 5th-round body-sleeping uppercut. It was a great first half of the year.